Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am pleased to welcome you to the Technion's 2023 Honorary Doctorate Ceremony. My name is Professor Noam Adir, and I'm honored to be your Masters of Ceremony this evening. I am the Dean of the Schulich Faculty of Chemistry and a biophysical chemist. Now, I know what this sounds like to you. It means I really haven't decided what to do when I finally grow up. Do I want to be a chemist? Do I want to be a biologist? Do I want to be a physicist? But it's actually exactly what most chemists are. They're inherently interdisciplinary. Chemists wish to understand how the molecular world around us works and creates new ways and new molecules to improve our world. I believe that this last goal, making a better world, is a defining characteristic of all of our honorary PhD recipients as well, even if they're not chemists, because nobody is perfect. Our honorees today are a select group of people who, whether in science, education, philanthropy, or leadership, make our world a better place. The Technion is pleased to confer its honorary degree upon distinguished individuals whose contributions to society and to the sciences have been truly exemplary. Tonight, we recognize 5 such astounding individuals. Please rise to receive the academic procession. President, followed by senior administration. Next come our honorees in yellow hoods. And lastly, the deans and heads of academic units and members of the Senate. The colored hoods represent different fields: yellow for sciences, orange for engineering, brown for architecture, and green for medicine. I have the honor of inviting the members of the Presidium to come onto stage. President of the Technion, Professor Uri Sivan. Chairman of the Board of Governors of the Technion, Mr. Scott Lee Master. Chairman of the Council, Mr. Gideon Frank. Senior Executive Vice President, Professor Oded Rabinovich. Executive Vice President for Academic Affairs, Professor Naama Brenner, and the Dean of the Jacobs Graduate School, Professor Uri Peskin. I am now proud to invite this year's recipients of the Honorary Doctorate to take their seats on the stage. Stephen B. Klein, United States of America. David Gadi Perlmutter, Israel. Dr. Martin and Grace Rossman, United States of America. And Professor Avi Wigderson, United States of America. And now, will the deans and the Senate members please take their seats on the stage behind the honorees. Please be seated. Members of the Board of Governors, fellow members of the Technion management, distinguished recipients of the honorary doctorates and their guests, faculty, students, and alumni, welcome to the 2023 Technion Honorary Doctorate Ceremony. We will open this festive ceremony with a musical interlude. Tonight, we are welcoming Chava Hosenov, a second-year student in the Faculty of Math and Physics, on the violin. Jerias Saleh, a fourth-year student in the Faculty of Biomedical Engineering, on the violin. Ma'ayan Ben Eliezer, a first-year student in the Faculty of Biochemical Engineering, on the piano. The first piece they will play is the Shostakovich 5 pieces for 2 violins and piano prelude. Please. very, very much for that. And now, I would like to invite Professor Uri Sivan, President of the Technion, to offer his greetings.
Good evening, and what an evening. Mr. Scott Leemaster, Chairman of the Board, Mr. Gideon Frank, Chairman of the Council, honorary doctors and their families and friends, members of the Board of Governors, the Technion family, dear guests. 100 years in the course of a human lifespan is a rare opportunity to look back at a life well lived and take pride in a legacy lovingly built. But 100 years in the lifespan of a university, 1 century in the life of a world-leading academic institution is an even rarer opportunity to look this time forward to the legacy one has yet to build. Tonight, I'm delighted to welcome you all to this ceremony conferring honorary doctorates on 5 extraordinary individuals whose contributions to this remarkable institution embody the Technion's vision for the future as we launch our centennial celebrations. Each in his or her own way has pushed the boundaries of science and innovation onward, upward, and outward, and none shows any sign of slowing down. Through groundbreaking research leading to scientific breakthroughs, visionary entrepreneurial activity, expanding the bounds of opportunity, and truly remarkable philanthropy, sharing success with society, tonight's honorary doctors symbolize the best of the Technion. They stand as paragons of the Technion core mission to shape generations of extraordinary engineers and scientists so that their ingenuity will continue to bring gifts to the state of Israel and to our entire world. After all, I don't know if you ever ask yourself, what is a university? What is the Technion? If not the sum of the people who built it day by day. The Technion is its founding fathers, the visionaries who dreamed of a technological university to serve the Jewish people in this corner of the earth. And it's the 17 students who started their engineering and architecture studies at the old building in Hadar in 1924. The Technion is the supporters and governors who created all of this out of nothing. Those who committed themselves to leading this institution, the academic faculty and administrative staff who fled from Europe and found safe harbor here. It is the over 100,000 graduates who built this nation's civilian infrastructure, founded its industries, and can be found all over the world. An extraordinary mosaic of men and women breaking new ground, changing the world. The Technion is our graduates, including Dadi Perlmutter, whose contributions to Israel high-tech industry and the education of its youth are second to none. The Technion is our supremely accomplished scientists, including Professor Vigdersson, another graduate of the Technion. It is the philanthropists whose vision is a family business. I'm looking at you, Martin and Grace Rossman, and Stefan Klein, without whom we couldn't have reached where we are now. And the Technion is the audience sitting with us here today, all of you. Each and every one of you. Together, we are the Technion. Its spirit connects us all, us and the students and their families and everyone impacted by them. Hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of people. Together, the extended Technion family. This is the Technion. In tonight's ceremony, the honorary doctorates are formally awarded by the Board of Governors, the Technion Senate, and the Council. But in practice, my dear friends, please accept these honors on behalf of the hundreds of thousands of members of the Technion family. Without further ado, I'm proud to announce the Technion's newest honorary doctors. Mr. Stephen Klein, Steve, has been a tireless champion of the Technion, whose remarkable philanthropy has helped to secure not only the future of Israeli aerospace, but also skies above the Technion. Stefan, when it comes to your generosity, not even the sky is the limit. Tonight we salute your support for an astonishing catalog of critical projects, and especially your commitment to be the lead gift donor for a mega project for the Faculty of Aerospace Engineering, the only one in Israel, including a new state-of-the-art building, as well as funding for new professors and student support. There could be no more fitting tribute than this honorary doctorate in recognition of your support to making sure that the Technion and Israeli aerospace take wing, flying onward and upward. Mr. David Daddy Perlmutter has made groundbreaking contributions as an engineer, a manager, an educator, and an entrepreneur, not only to the Israeli high-tech industry, but to the entire world of technology. Dearest Daddy, your contributions to the worlds of personal, mobile, wireless, and cloud computing over 34 years at Intel, including as its Executive Vice President and Chief Product Officer, are too numerous to mention. And in all that time, and beyond your contributions to advancing the Israeli high-tech scene on the global stage, opening opportunities for young Israeli entrepreneurs and inventors to spread out and change the world, this contribution has been immense. We are so proud to call you a Technion graduate, and today, after 43 years of hard work, after you graduated from this university with a BSc, by the way, cum laude, in electrical engineering, we are delighted to upgrade that degree to an honorary doctorate. Dr. Martin and Grace Rossman, a husband and wife team of Technion Guardians, have been active leaders at every level of the American Technion Society and this Board of Governors. My dear Martin and Grace, your establishment of vital projects such as the Rossman Atidim program and the Martin and Grace Durand Rossman High Performance Computer Data Center have transformed the lives of hundreds of Technion students, no less. Tonight, we recognize your inspirational commitment to the noble goal of equal opportunity. You have funded IDF reservists who have lost academic time while serving our nation's defense, and you have helped to open the doors of the Technion to disadvantaged youth from Israel periphery, enriching not only their lives, but also Israeli society as a whole. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. And finally, last but not least, Professor Avi Vigderson becomes an honorary doctor in recognition of his fundamental contributions and leadership in theoretical computer science and discrete mathematics, including complexity theory, cryptography, expanded graphs, and so much more. My dear Avi, we are so proud to count you as a Technion graduate, and although you earned your PhD from some minor foreign university, a place called, I never heard about it, but it's a place called Princeton. Tonight, you receive a Technion honorary doctorate, which I hope will prevail, in recognition of the extraordinary scientific journey that began with your studies in computer science here at the Technion in the late 1970s. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in giving Dr. Stephen Klein, Steve, Dr. Dadi Perlmutter, Dr. Martin Rossmann, Dr. Grace Rossmann, and Dr. Avi Vigdeson, a terrific round of applause. I hope you enjoyed the evening.
Thank you very much, Professor Sivan. And I'd like now to invite Mr. Scott Leemaster, Chairman of our Board of Governors, to deliver his greetings.
Thank you. President Sivan, Chairman of the Council Gideon Frank, honorees, members of the faculty, students, ladies and gentlemen. As chair of the Technion Board of Governors, I have many conversations about our beloved institution. Nearly every one involves a common sentiment. The Technion exists to make the world a better place. Tonight, we are proud to recognize honorees who have made the world measurably better in their own unique ways. I can confidently say that every one of us in this room tonight has somehow felt the ripple effects of their achievements, so much so that these remarkable individuals are receiving one of Technion's very highest honors. Tonight, they join the ranks of Albert Einstein, Winston Churchill, Elie Wiesel, and many other luminaries as Technion Honorary Doctorate recipients. These outstanding individuals personify in uncommon measure the Technion's commitment to learning, work, and tikkun olam, repairing the world. And I wish each of them a hearty mazel tov. Students at the Technion are driven by these same values. Alongside their top-notch technical instruction, students learn ethics and philosophy, equipping them with the moral tools they need to use the privilege of their Technion education for the common good. But it's not just students here in Haifa who embody the Technion's commitment to discovery, innovation, and good citizenship. Technion students around the globe are also studying core curricula focused on improving the quality of air, water, and food. This summer, an additional 250 GTIIT graduates with degrees from the Technion will push the total number of graduates to more than 600. These dedicated students will take their diplomas and begin using their knowledge to improve the quality of life in their communities. Whether in Israel or China, the United States or Europe, Latin America or Africa, Technion graduates are united by a common commitment to tikkun olam, which we celebrate here tonight. Technion alumni protect and improve their environments, provide medical care to their communities, and work to secure the blessings of tolerance and pluralism for generations to come. We applaud tonight the global Technion family that has, now for a century, contributed so much good to people's lives around the world. The theme of this year's ceremony is Exchange for Change. The Technion has been privileged over the last year to establish new relationships with high-functioning corporate entities that share its commitment to innovation and discovery. Through these partnerships, Technion students are given opportunities to apply their skills to real-world situations and contribute to the development of new technologies. Students enrolled in these programs have, for example, made significant contributions to digital twins, computerized versions of sophisticated mechanical equipment that make innovation and R&D more efficient and cost-effective for companies. Exchange for Change is the latest chapter in the Technion's storied history of driving forward industrial innovation in the Jewish state. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been to Israel many times in my life, and every time I step off the plane, there's a phrase that runs through my mind that's applicable no matter what day, what year that I arrive. These are interesting times in Israel. Yes, they are. Since its inception nearly a century ago, the Technion has adhered to a set of core principles outlined by Jacob Schiff, an American financier and early Technion supporter. Schiff envisioned that the Technion would be open to all, regardless of nationality, ethnicity, religion, or gender. Following this philosophy, the Technion has consistently demonstrated that doing what is best for all of us is doing what is best for each of us. These are interesting times. Recent news coverage of Israeli politics conveys a sense of uncertainty and tension. This is the environment around us, which makes it especially reassuring to me to be here tonight with you. Here at the Technion, a steadfast symbol of enlightenment and respect for others. I would like to share with you a portion of a letter released by the Technion at the beginning of this year. Quote, "Now the climate has changed, and voices have arisen that call for social exclusion and discrimination. The foundations of our existence as a democratic, progressive, and egalitarian society are threatened, and we are more determined than ever to uphold these values as a united community. The Technion will continue to educate for tolerance and inclusion in Israeli society, and we will continue to fight for its character and the character of the State of Israel as a liberal society that is free from discrimination and exclusion." End quote. This statement was signed by President Sivan and the senior members of his administration. It is a matter of pride and honor for all of us to work to preserve these values and instill them in succeeding generations of students who walk out the gates and become the building blocks of a civil society. I would like to thank President Sivan and his team for proudly declaring these values that animate us. Their heart and soul are in this work, and their commitment to the Technion's core values will characterize their leadership in the years ahead. These are interesting times in Israel, but I pray that we, the supporters of the Technion, and especially the members of the Board of Governors, remain steadfast in our support so that when we gather here again next year, we may feel the same sense of determination and pride that we feel tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Leemaster. To begin the conferment of the honorary doctorate degrees, I call upon Mr. Gideon Frank, Chairman of the Council, to read the formal proclamation of the honorary doctorate recipients.
הקוראטוריון של הטכניון, מכון טכנולוגיה לישראל, בתוקף סמכויותיו המוענקות לו על ידי חוקת המוסד ובהתאם להחלטת הוועד המנהל, מעניק בזאת לסטפן קליין, דוד דדי פרלמוטר, דוקטור מרדכי וגיברה רוסמן, פרופסור אבי ויגדרזון, את התואר דוקטור לשם כבוד. על החתום, סקוט לימאסטר, יושב ראש הקוראטוריון, פרופסור אורי סיוון, נשיא הטכניון, גדעון פרנק, יושב ראש הוועד המנהל של הטכניון. The Board of the Governors of the Technion, Israel Institute of Technology, by virtue of the authority granted to it by the Constitution of the Institute, in accordance with the decision made by the Council, hereby confers the degree of Doctor Honoris Causa upon Stephen Klein, David Daddy Perlmutter, Dr. Martin and Grace Rossman, Professor Avi Vigdorsson, signed by Scott Limaster, Chairman of the Board of Governors, Professor Uri Sivan, President of the Technion, Gideon Frank, Chairman of the Technion Council.
I would like to ask Stephen B. Klein to rise, please. In appreciation for your commitment as a philanthropist to realize Tikkun Olam, with great admiration for your dedication to the Technion in Israel, in recognition of your leadership at the American Technion Society, with gratitude for your contributions as a Technion guardian, and with thanks for your generous support of the Faculty of Aerospace Engineering to secure Israel's future. I now invite Mr. Klein, Professor Sivan, and Professor Rabinovich to the front of the stage for the awarding of the certificate. Our second awardee is David Perlmutter.
David Perlmutter, known as Dadi, is a true visionary in the world of technology and a social entrepreneur. With a passion for investing in technology companies and social initiatives in Israel, he strives to reduce inequality and open doors of opportunity for the younger generation. In 1980, he graduated from the Technion cum laude with a Bachelor of Science degree in electrical engineering. For 34 years at Intel, where he eventually was nominated as the Executive Vice President and Chief Product Officer of Intel Corporation, Dadi played a pivotal role in developing several of Intel's groundbreaking products and technologies that revolutionized personal, wireless, and cloud computing. Today, Dadi serves as chairman of 2 Israeli technological startups and is also an investor in and director of startup companies in Israel and in Silicon Valley. He chairs and plays a vital role in several educational non-profit organizations and is a member of the Technion Board of Governors. Recognized for his outstanding contributions, Dadi received the prestigious Innovation in Industrial Development Award from the President of Israel and was awarded the Technion Medal of Honor. Dadi is married to Chaya with 4 children and 8 grandchildren.
I'm a person who loves to solve big problems. That's why probably I became an engineer. I always wanted to know how things work, how to get things done in a way that nobody else thought about getting it done, and sometimes even inventing the problem that nobody thought it was a problem. You know, I'm extremely proud of the thing that I have done through my career at Intel. I'm also proud of the thing that I tried to and failed, because failure is part of trying to do the big things. On top of it, I had an incredible team. When I worked here in Intel Israel, most of them were like me, Technion graduates. I was a relatively young engineer. I was leading a team of 2 people. And we invented the basic idea that what became the Pentium processor. It changed the world of computing. It made personal computing really personal. And for me, it was a big learning to really swim against the flow, because everybody at Intel was against this idea, and me and my team had to push through and go all the way up to convince top management to do things that eventually became very big for the world and for Intel. I had a tragedy in my life. I lost my brother when I was 20 years old in a war. And since then, there's a void inside me that, you know, the great things I've done technologically and business-wise, well, I found out that nothing eventually kind of fills that void. Giving back is a great thing. When my wife and I thought about how we are going to get back to the community, we agreed very fast that it have to be by giving opportunities to others. When you see kids successful, reaching achievements that probably would not have achieved without the opportunities that we are trying to help them get, I think it's a huge reward. The Technion was a big foundation for everything I've done in my adult life. I'll reveal a secret. I think only my wife knows. I really wanted an academic career. I said, I'll come back one day. Well, this day never happened. It was always a missing part in me. That's something I wanted to achieve and I haven't. And thanks God, you know, out of the blue came the call that I received my honorary doctorate. It's a real fulfilling my dreams. It's a big appreciation of the things that I've done.
David Perlmutter, please rise. In recognition of your groundbreaking and multifaceted contributions to the development of the high-tech industry in Israel and its global advancement, for your role as an educator, social and business entrepreneur, and your steadfast commitment to advocate for equal opportunities, diversity, integration, and inclusion across all sectors of Israeli society, for your contributions to the Technion, your efforts to promote higher education, and your dedicated service to the Israel Friends of the Technion. I now invite Mr. Perlmutter, Professor Sivan, and Professor Rabinovich to front of the stage for the awarding of the certificate. Thank you. Our third awardees are Dr. Martin and Grace Rossman.
Dr. Martin and Mrs. Grace Rossman are dedicated advocates of Israel, the Technion, and the American Technion Society. They are deeply committed to enhancing the quality of life on campus and creating meaningful opportunities that benefit Technion students. In addition to their leadership roles within the ATS, Martin and Grace currently serve as esteemed members of the Technion Board of Governors, where they provide invaluable guidance and expertise. As Technion guardians, the Rossmans have supported some of the Technion's most pressing priorities. In December 2021, they established the Martin and Grace Drouin Rossman High Performance Computer Data Center, which provides access to state-of-the-art supercomputer hardware to faculty and students across many disciplines. They have also supported undergraduate dormitories, student scholarships, and funds for reservists who have lost academic time while serving in the Israel Defense Forces. One of their most meaningful initiatives is the Rossman Atidim program, through which they have positively impacted the lives of almost 1,000 students. This initiative is dedicated to providing educational opportunities to underprivileged youth from Israel's periphery, offering them a chance to attend the Technion and contribute to building a more diverse and productive society. Martin is a highly accomplished oncologist who has dedicated almost 50 years to the field of medicine. He has held leadership positions in Connecticut, where he headed medical oncology at Bridgeport Hospital and served as a clinical faculty member at Yale. Grace is an experienced science teacher with a strong background in biochemistry. She graduated from Barnard College of Columbia University and worked in biochemical research before pursuing her passion for teaching.
I think the most important thing of any country, of any organization, is the human capital. And the capital in Israel is enormous.
Atidim program holds a very special meaning for us. I would say the most important thing that we've contributed to Technion's mission is the education of the students. The ones who are disadvantaged because they live in the periphery don't even realize they could go to the Technion. We've been able to provide scholarships for those kids to catch up in a Mechina program and also for them to continue and not have the financial worries.
So whatever we can do to help the students themselves, either through direct scholarships or through funding some of the things that students need, such as dormitories or remedial classes, things like that, we'll be very happy to do that. So again, it comes down to the fact the human capital is what counts, and the students are what count to us.
We're very honored by that designation, that Technion feels that we were worthy of it, but it's really about the doctorates that our students achieve, or even if they don't go on for a doctorate, their master's program. Just to see their success and their ability is what's most important to me.
Receiving the doctorate is an acknowledgement of how important Technion feels our contributions have been. We are very thankful and happy that the Technion acknowledges that their work towards benefiting the student is all important. And the more that they do to allow the student to have a good experience and an easier experience at the Technion would be well worth it.
Dr. Martin and Grace Rossman, please rise. In honor of your devotion to Israel and the Technion, your active leadership at every level of the American Technion Society, and on the Technion Board of Governors, and in gratitude for your contributions as Technion guardians, supporting projects such as the Rossman Atidim program, which has impacted hundreds of students, and the Martin and Grace Drouin Rossman High Performance Computer Data Center. I now invite Dr. and Mrs. Rossman, Professor Sivan, and Professor Brenner to the front of the stage for the awarding of the certificate. Our fourth honoree is Professor Avi Wigderson.
Professor Avi Wigderson is a remarkable mathematician and computer scientist whose contributions have greatly impacted both fields. Professor Wigderson was born in Haifa to Holocaust survivors. He earned his Bachelor of Science in Computer Science at the Technion and moved to Princeton for his graduate studies, receiving his PhD in 1983. After short-term positions at the University of California, Berkeley, IBM Almaden Research Center, and the Mathematical Sciences Research Institute in Berkeley, Professor Wigderson joined the faculty of the Hebrew University of Jerusalem, where he was made full professor. In 1999, he joined the Institute for Advanced Study in Princeton, where he has been working ever since. Throughout his career, Avi Wigderson has focused on the intersection of mathematics and computer science, developing new algorithms, techniques, and insights that have helped shape both fields. His fundamental contributions to cryptography, including the zero-knowledge proof, are used today in security systems, including blockchain technology. In 2021, he was awarded the Abel Prize together with Laszlo Lovász for their foundational contributions to theoretical computer science and discrete mathematics, and their leading role in shaping them into central fields of modern mathematics.
I grew up in a neighborhood by the beach in Haifa. I remember mainly going to swim and playing soccer most of my childhood. After the army, I was looking into going to study mathematics. It was very natural at the time to go in the city you lived in, and so I applied only to the Technion. I intended to study math, but my parents thought that it's also good to graduate with a job. And they said, you know, why don't you go and study computer science? There'll be plenty of math. And that was a brilliant idea, because I found that what I really wanted to do is the mathematics of computer science. We are trying to understand computation in all its forms, whether it is in computers or in nature or in our brains. It should be noted that Israel is a superpower in this field of research. It just, there's no country except the US where there's so much quality and output of great ideas and great progress. I must say I was very happy to get this call about honorary doctorate from the Technion. Is that it's from the Technion, which is a place where my whole career started, so I'm attached to the Technion. Another very strong connection I have to the Technion is that that's where I met my wife, Edna. And in fact, we were also married at the Technion, in the Technion synagogue. And great memories there. And I will really be happy to be there at the ceremony, because when I graduated from the Technion, I was already in the US doing my PhD, and my mother went to get the diploma for me, and now I will go and I guess get it myself.
Professor Wigderson, please rise. In recognition of your fundamental contributions and leadership in the fields of theoretical computer science and discrete mathematics, including complexity theory, cryptography, expander graphs, and many more, and in gratitude for your ongoing relationship with the Technion, which began with your undergraduate studies, I now invite Professor Wigderson, Professor Sivan, and Professor Peskin to the front of the stage for the awarding of the certificate. I would now like to re-invite our talented students, Chava, Mayan, and Jelies, to the stage to play Sostakovich, 5 pieces for 2 violins and piano, a waltz. Wonderful. Thank you very much. I now invite Professor Avi Wigderson to respond on behalf of the laureates.
Good evening. You should excuse me for reading. Dear board members, Technion leaders, and esteemed guests, I would like to say a few words for you tonight on behalf of all recipients. It's really hard to speak for other people, especially if you've just met them tonight. I'm certain of one thing: they must be, like me, extremely honored to receive this honorary doctorate today. The rest of the statement is, personal. I plan to talk about my connections to the Technion, then the state of Israeli academia, and finally my research area, briefly. Let me start by thanking the many people on whom my research career depended, my wonderful family, many of them are here, my teachers and mentors, my students, postdocs, and colleagues, and of course, the academic institutions in which I spend time, starting here. My connections with the Technion are deep and numerous, which makes this event particularly moving for me. First, the Technion is my alma mater. I've spent my formative years here in a fantastic academic institution that both inspired me and prepared me for this academic career. The computer science, this is the late 70s, was very small. We were a class of only 40, but boy, what quality. Many of them, today are leaders, scientific leaders, and some of them are close colleagues to this day. I also had excellent teachers here. Among them, I would like to highlight the late Shimon Even, who I consider my first mentor in research. Second fundamental connection, which I guess this happens a lot, is that it was here where I met my future wife, Edna. It is also her alma mater. She was a math graduate. We met in a class of solving puzzles and riddles. This is allowed. This is academic freedom. We both attended it in the fall of 1980. It was here we fell in love, decided to get married, and actually had our wedding here, just a few meters away, in the Technion synagogue. Calculation will show you that we are entering our 44th year of a wonderful life together. The third fundamental connection is through Edna's parents. Her late father, Wolfgang Rothenstein, was on the faculty here at the Department of Nuclear Engineering from 1960 to 1991, and then continued to be an active emeritus professor until his death 20 years ago. Wolfgang and his wife Miriam, who is happily sitting with us here, considered the Technion their home. I realized this the minute I met Edna and her family. They often dined here at the faculty club and attended many events like this one, and had many, many friends and colleagues here. Finally, besides these connections, there are many I will not list in detail because so many of both our families have graduated this amazing institution together with numerous others across 100 years of operation and existence. Israeli universities, and the Technion in particular, have been a beacon of excellence for decades in the education they provide, the research they generate, and the human power that they prepare to lead Israel's growth in science and technology, and thus also to Israel's economy and security. The foundation for such success are the important principles that guide it, including the pursuit of knowledge and truth through inspection and reason, complete freedom of expression and discussion of ideas, openness, inclusivity, and collaboration with academia and with society, locally and internationally. This foundation must be maintained and strengthened for such success to continue. Unfortunately, there are at present enormous threats to this foundation, and thus to the survival and thriving of Israeli higher education and education in general and Israeli society. While this event is a celebration, I cannot avoid discussing these dangers. Nothing I'll say here is particularly original. This is just what I see and how I feel, and I must say I feel fear. Like numerous others, I've been watching with horror the plans and activities of the current government, which in my view leads to dismantling the very foundations which helped make Israel what it is today. Dismantling the democratic institutions, human rights, public service, quality education, rule of law, and others. While we have been on a slippery slope for a while, it seems to me that in the past few months we have been moving to a free fall from a cliff into a possible self-destruction. With an openly declared agenda, current government ministers, which are granted with enormous powers and responsibility, put forward fascist, racist, homophobic, misogynistic, and authoritarian ideas and policies. They are already beginning to change the rules so as to control all branches of government, remove checks and balances, suppress human rights organizations, and frightfully they use brutal, violence-inciting rhetoric towards anyone with different opinions. All these are reminiscent of dark regimes in Hungary, Poland, Belarus, Iran, and indeed the very early years of Nazi Germany. Such actions and plans are bound to lead to tyranny, to ignoring minority rights and human rights, to establish corruption, and to the squashing of the productive segments of society, while supporting an ever-growing ignorant, racist, and violent population. In particular, the consequences of controlling free speech, curricula in educational institutions, political control of academic funding, and the expected and actually observed drastic cut of foreign investment in Israel science and technology can be devastating. They are destined to destroy academic excellence we have been so proud of, and undermine its future as a resource of innovation, revenue, strength, and security. Israeli citizens in huge numbers have reacted against this brewing nightmare with inspiring energy, stamina, bravery, and determination. But I expect that this will be a long and difficult struggle, and believe that all parts of society, in particular academia, must continue to fight these dark tendencies. Okay. Thank you. I would hate to end on such a grim note, so let me tell you about a positive thing, which is, as I said, my research area and community. I fell in love not only with Edna, but also with my research area, the theory of computation here at the Technion, and have been continuously passionate about it since then. I'll tell you briefly what it deals with. Deals with rigorously modeling computational processes and understanding their power and limitations, namely finding efficient algorithms for solving important problems or proving that no such methods exist. This task turned out to be an extremely deep, broad, and evolving challenge, leading to a beautiful theory with remarkable intellectual and technological implications. Indeed, the theory developed so far was essential to all the amazing computer technology and the digital world we all depend on and are familiar with. But this is only half the story. As already observed by pioneers like Turing and von Neumann, computational processes take place not only inside computers and between computers, but actually in every evolution we know of, be it natural or man-made, biological, chemical, physical, economic, neural, and more. All of them may be viewed as computational. The only difference differences are in what basic operations are performed in each, and what are the prevailing resources that are expended in each. Therefore, the theory developed by the theory of computation also helps shed light on research in all sciences. Indeed, interactions with all sciences continue to grow in volume and importance. I happened to give a talk a few hours ago in the computer science department about work, not of mine, which had amazing impacts in both physics, quantum physics, and mathematics. For me personally, this has been an exhilarating ride. For over 40 years, I've been frequently excited by ingenious ideas and results, and by the quality of young researchers which keep entering this field. Moreover, it is an extremely collaborative and friendly community, completely international. Many of my students and colleagues became long-lasting friends. I feel blessed and privileged to be part of this wonderful environment, which was an essential part of my growth, achievements, and distinctions, and thus feel that they share this honor with me today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Rigderson. I wish to express the Technion's deepest appreciation to the honorees and to the Technion's friends who have come from all over the world to demonstrate their solidarity with the Technion and Israel. I would like to ask now the audience to rise for the singing of Hatikva.
ציון וירושלים